little bit better than sand, but okay. So, like CrossFit rowing has a world of its own language. Two very important parts from the rowing world are the positions of the stroke. The first one's called the catch. The second one's called the finish. The catch is the beginning of the stroke, and the finish is the end of the stroke. Weird, I know. The catch is called the catch because that's where the oar catches the water in the actual rowing stroke, and then the finish is where the oar comes out of the water. You can see these great little pictures I drew, but I think it's better if you just see me do it, so I'm going to sit on the erg. And before we even talk about that, we're going to talk about how to personalize the erg a little bit for you. Right here, there's a lot of adjustable parts to the erg. You can change where the foot plates are, what your damper setting is, and everything like that. So to start off with the foot plates, you want to have these, this black part. Basically, if you look at your shoe, I don't have laces, but if you had shoelaces, it's supposed to be about where the first shoelace starts. And so after that, once you decide where that is, it will never change. And so I row at a 2, and a guy with bigger feet will row at like a 5 or whatever. So once you figure that out, you also have a damper setting on the side. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but it's kind of, Todd came up with the analogy that it's kind of like gears on a bike. If you have that 10, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go further or faster or whatever, but it's just going to be a different kind of workout. So if you think about it like a bike, if you have it on a harder gear, it might take you a longer time, but you have to, your muscles are going to be working harder. So if you think about a 10 as like a higher bike gear and a 1 is a lower bike gear, then you're going to have to, you want it to be somewhere in the middle. For a 2,000 meter piece, you want it to be kind of on the lower end. So I would say for women, like 4.5 or to the 4 side, and for guys, like 5.5 or to the 5 side. Once you start rowing, and I would say like in your rowing warm-ups, you can play with this a little bit and see what you like to do, because it's just to personalize for yourself. So there are kind of standards, but it really is just for yourself. So if you see here, I'm going to sit at the catch. I'm going to have my shins perpendicular to the ground. My back angle, if you think of a clock, well, I'm kind of going to be up towards the one side. My arms are going to be straight and locked out. And then from here, all you're going to do the first part of the stroke, which is the biggest part of the stroke, is you're just going to drive down with the legs. So from here, I still retain that back angle. My arms are still straight. All that I did is I used most of my stroke with my legs. From here, I'm going to open my back up to, if you look at that clock again, we're going to go a little bit towards 11. It's not a ridiculously overdone, like 9 o'clock or whatever, but you want to have a pretty good, strong back angle. You want to have a tight core, and you kind of want to be able to sit here for a couple minutes. So if I said sit at the finish for 5 minutes, you're not going to want to sit here for 5 minutes, just a comfortable position. From here, we already put the legs down and the back over. You want to just pull your arms in to finish the stroke. A lot of people think rowing is all arms because that's how you finish the stroke and you just rip through it. But the stroke, 80% of the stroke comes from your legs. And so you are just pulling the arms in to finish the stroke and to keep it fluid. You could technically row this entire piece just legs only. It wouldn't feel that great, but you could. So here, we've come to the finish position. Like that lovely picture on the board. And then from the finish, you're going to go arms away. Everything else stays the same though. The legs are still extended, the back is still open, and then we're going to close the back. Note that I didn't break my knees, and then you're going to break your knees and come back to the catch. So just a couple strokes to demonstrate that. You're going to go legs, back, arms, back, legs. The chain doesn't move. You want to keep that chain in a straight line. If you think about it like you're doing a press or some like a bench press or something, you wouldn't press out over your head and around like you're doing a strict press. You want to push straight up because that's the most efficient movement. For rowing, you don't want to be flopping all over the place because you're going to waste a lot of energy. So towards the end of the piece, think about controlling that movement and just being nice and straight with the chain. So that's an easy thing to think about while you're rowing. Being nice and straight, it will make you really efficient. There are 2 parts to the stroke that people like to wobble the chain at. The first part is they don't like to go arms. For some reason, CrossFitters really don't like to put their arms away. They like to break their knees as soon as possible because they want to take a stroke. They want to be as fast as possible, and they think that they need to take the next stroke as quickly as possible. as you see here, the catch to the finish is called the drive, and then the finish to the catch is called the recovery. It's called the recovery because that's where you recover. That's where you take your breath to take your next stroke, and if you don't do that, then you're gonna die during this piece. You are actually going to die. So take your time. You wanna put your arms away, but then you can take your time with your back angle and your legs. A lot of people, they like to just break their knees, and then once you're in this position, you're kind of screwed because where are you gonna go, you know? You can't put your arms here, you have to throw your arms over, and then they usually keep their back angle the same, so this is their catch, which is a very inefficient position. You don't get to push as hard with the legs, you don't get to use the back at all because it's already open, and then the arms come in. So to eliminate that, you're gonna go arms straight away, and then your back over, and then your legs up. If you think about it, think about someone holding your legs down. I've actually done this with a lot of people who have that problem, understanding that it goes arms, back, legs. They like to go just basically legs first. Think about someone is holding your knees down, so you have to go arms, back, and then the handle's gonna be over basically mid-shin before you break your knees. Also, the other part of the stroke where they like to wobble the chain is towards the finish. So they're really good from here, they got their back over, they're breaking their legs, and they like to kind of like scoop down. It happens in rowing because that's the way the boat works, but it doesn't happen in erging. You just want that straight chain in and out. From here, let's talk about hand position on the handle. Some people like to row here, but if you think about it, you want to have basically your pinky like falling off the handle, so you have a really nice laid back position, elbows high and outside. If you ask CrossFit HQ for stuff for rowing, they're going to say sumo deadlift high pulls. Why they say that is it's exactly like a rowing stroke. So set up in a sumo deadlift high pull, you're going to have your legs. The first thing you're going to do is your legs, and then you're going to open your back, show your shoulders, and pull up. And then you're going to go back down, arms away, back close, legs down. So you think about it, arms back, legs, back, arms. Exactly the same for the stroke. Legs, back, arms, back, legs.